Yeah.
like why I think it is. Are we going?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this has got to be Kon Knueppel here for the Hornets. Assuming again nobody trades up for Ace Bailey here, which I would be listening to trades if I was the Hornets and the Jazz coming up for the whoever wants to come get Ace Bailey and steal him from the Wizards or even the Wizards moving up. But if I'm taking player number 4, I'm taking Kon Knueppel. I just think you need an off-ball player with LaMelo and Brandon Miller, and I think he would just make a lot of sense on both sides of the ball, but especially on offense as just a guy who can make things happen.
In the Twitter trade possible scenarios, apparently, and I don't know, this Wizards and Hornets could swap 4 and 6. So
I mean, that's what somebody's going to come up. I always thought somebody was going to come up and get Ace Bailey.
yeah.
If Ace Bailey just fell to 6, it would be kind of surprising to me. Now, I will say the Hornets are letting this thing tick down. We're under 50 seconds here. They really need to have it to where, like in the NFL, if you don't make your pick in time, you forfeit it.
I
But
also wish that we knew exactly who they were, like whose pick it is. Like 10 obviously is not the Suns pick or the Rockets. Sorry.
But yeah, that Trey Johnson just wouldn't make sense to me. I say that we could make it work, but
yeah, I mean they need a guy who can shoot the ball and doesn't need the ball in his hands.
Brandon Miller, I like Kon as just a good player to get him right, be under control. We'll talk about all of it if he is the pick here. But that's who I would take here. Do you agree?
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Who are we taking the mock here?
That's a good question, actually.
That's the question we need to
Let me go look. I think you actually have it, unfortunately, so I can't look at it on your end. But
I got it.
I have Trey Johnson really low, so it's not
Kon was our pick in the mock draft as well here. All right. Save this. Okay. Yeah, they're showing right now LaMelo Ball. Ultimately, he has to stay healthy. Mark Williams is still there because he was not traded to the Lakers despite looking like he wanted to be traded to the Lakers. I would feel better. Honestly, like I kind of wish they had Dalton Connect at the end of the day.
Right? I mean, because that's kind of what they needed, right? I mean, that's why they made the trade.
You add like Kon Knueppel, potentially you have enough shooting there at that point. I will say my fears of Brandon Miller still exist in terms of him not getting to the rim very often for this team. He still just makes a lot of jumpers and takes a lot of jumpers. So, Kon isn't the most downhill guy, but neither is Trey Johnson. Like if I'm looking at other guys to potentially take here, I think and neither does Ace Bailey, obviously. Kon gets the rim way more than those two, but
yeah,
he's still not a great vertical athlete in terms of guy who puts a ton of pressure on the basket. So I'm interested to see which way they go here. The pick is in, assuming it's not traded.
It is. I have not seen it be traded, so take that with a grain of salt, though.
Let's see it.
4th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kon Knueppel.
Yep. No, that's the pick. That's where they needed to go. I think that he probably has, in my opinion, the third or fourth highest floor in the draft. Obviously, if you're picking 4, that's what you want. But it's a very, very high floor, and it's just a guy that not only is just a shooter, but he's kind of like a gritty player that can also. I mean, he's not going to be a positive on defense, but he's not going to be a negative either, just because of how hard he plays. And I think that if he's able to develop a little bit of a pull-up game, I mean, obviously, for those who don't know, in EYBL, he was the leading scorer when he was in EYBL. So there's a little bit more to his game I think he can unlock, and I don't think he's just going to be the guy that's going to sit in the corner and shoot threes. I think there's more to him, and this is a great pick for Charlotte.
Yeah, he had games where he showed some on-ball juice that most people didn't really think he had, especially when Cooper missed the ACC tournament and he was kind of the number 1 option. I just think so highly of his ability to get 2 feet in the paint and make the right decision, like seemingly every single time, like a 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio. Obviously 48% from the field, 40.6% from 3, 91.4% from the free throw line. Talk about a guy who makes every right decision and is exactly the player that you want on your team. And I think this Duke team was perfect in a lot of ways, just the synergy that they had and everything. The only downside is they were young, so that kind of ended up biting them in the end. But like, if you're building a team, like you're building it with, all right, I have Cooper as a star, and then I have Knueppel who can play off ball perfectly, and then also take some of the creation responsibility off other guys, follow watch rolling to the rim and whatnot. But like, he just did everything for this team, and I think that translates very, very easily to the NBA level. So we'll talk about the concerns or questions, but in terms of just basketball player and
Yeah.
this guy's like scoring ability and offensive ability, he's not that far behind. I mean, he's number 4 on my board, and it's a really strong number 4.
Yeah. No, he's 4 on my board too. I think just to get into concerns, to play devil's advocate, obviously you need to hope that his lack of athleticism and handle is able to translate to the NBA a little bit, because obviously when you watch him play, and he had those flashes when Cooper was out, but he isn't a very athletic player. He's not going to beat you with his athleticism or anything like that, and he's also not going to really break you down. Now, what he does really well is he moves really well off ball, and obviously comes off screens and pin downs and flare screens and stuff like that. It's just what's that upside? And I think that's where a lot of people have a hard time kind of projecting what he can be. I think there's some obvious juice in there since I have him 4, but I do think it is a valid concern where you go, okay, yeah, he's a very high floor player, he can shoot the ball, but what can he end up being? So where do you project him being, like, long term?
That's the question. Now, the ceiling that I have and a lot of people have from is Desmond Bane. Like, we see a guy without like a huge bag and without like a ton of like real wow moments, but Desmond Bane is one of the best shooters in the NBA with a quick release and can get it off in a multitude of ways. So I just believe in Kon to where he can reach maybe not all the way to that Desmond Bane level, but I think somewhere around there is very realistic. And honestly, I think he's better with the ball in his hands than what Bane was out of college. I also have Gary Trent and Dante DiVincenzo as a couple other very realistic outcomes. To me. So yeah, I like this pick quite a bit for the Hornets, and congratulations. I mean, it was either him or Edgecombe, and I would have been happy either way. I like this for Kon.
Yep, I
and for
agree.
the Hornets.